For our number 2 story, Countdown's worst persons in the world, the Bronx Sean Hannity of Fixed News on the Rupert Murdoch Network, talking about those carbon offsets you purchased to offset your carbon footprint. Those offsets, that is the biggest hoax in the world. You know what it's like? You go cheat on your wife and then say, honey, don't worry, I bought an offset. Good luck. This is at least the second time Hannity has dismissed offsets and going green and climate change, apparently utterly unaware that his boss pledged to make News Corp carbon neutral by 2010. While we reduce our own carbon footprint, some emissions will be unavoidable. As a last resort, we will offset these emissions. A carbon offset is a financial tool to support projects that prevent carbon from being released into the atmosphere. Done right, they will widen the implementation of carbon-saving technologies and give an incentive to create new solutions. Murdoch has also boasted that the telecast of the most recent Emmys was completely carbon neutral and added, watch your arse, Hannity, me boy. Our runner-up, Billo, having exhausted his company's supply of fiction for direct attacks on me and Matthews and the late Tim Russert in the New York Post, Billo is back to his GE Iran fantasy, saying on TV, when Goodyear stopped selling tires to Iran in 2006, GE, the parent company of NBC, became the only major company to continue dealing with the mullahs. CEO Jeffrey Immelt admits the situation, saying GE can't quit Iran cold turkey. Nobody's dealing with the mullahs, you simpleton. There's international firms still working in Iran. One of them has a contract to use GE stuff and has promised it expires next Monday. I know this is complicated for anybody whose brain still runs on steam, Billy, but there are no GE deals with the government of Iran. Not that this interrupts Bill. On the radio, he lied this way about Immelt. He's selling stuff to Iran who are killing American soldiers. Nice grammar. But that shows you how corrupt the whole operation is. And remember, they're the parent company of NBC News, the most corrupt news agency in the history of the United States, so it all links in. I mean, I'll tell you, I'm not objective here. I'm trying to get this guy. I'll admit it. I'm trying to get him. This just in, Billo's not objective. I'm trying to get him. Stick to what you're good at. Trying to get your women producers. And our winner, Justice Antonin Scalia of the Supreme Court. You get around 30,000 gun deaths per year in this country, another 75,000 non-fatal gun wounds. Half the suicides are by gun. And this clown and his 4 colleagues decided that the 32-year-old ban on handguns in Washington, D.C., and the demand that firearms kept in the home be locked or disassembled was unconstitutional based on the Second Amendment. You remember the Second Amendment. A well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state. The right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. Despite years of fog created by the NRA and right-wing organizations, that isn't very complicated. For the purposes of forming a state militia, you're entitled to keep and bear arms. Obviously, those would have to be the kind of arms in use in 1791 when the Bill of Rights was passed. The musket, the wheellock, the flintlock, the 13th century Chinese hand cannon. Stuff like that. Scalia, of course, simply decided that the militia part of the Second Amendment is some sort of quaint anachronism that he could happily ignore. And there's the beautiful thing about our country. They say anybody can grow up to be a Supreme Court justice. And in Antonin Scalia, there's your proof. And tonight's worst person in the world!